Hey everyone, this is Keith from Gaming Trend and Tabletop Throwdown, and I'm here with Chris and Natasha, and we are here to talk about 3 of the first games in the Titan series, which had a very successful Kickstarter campaign a little over a year ago, right?
Yep.
And this is the first game in that series, and it is called Menu Masters.
Menu Masters, yes. This is one of the 3 games that we'll be releasing in September as the first wave of the Titan series. So in this one, everybody plays as a master chef who's trying to prove that you can build the best menu and attract customers to your restaurant. So as you can see, you've got some different shops laid out. This is the fresh shops in your hometown where you go and you purchase the ingredients to build your menus. The menus that you're looking to build will have a number of goods. Usually it's an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. Sometimes it's just an entree and a dessert, that kind of thing. What you're trying to do is complete 3 menus. But the value of these menus it's the value of these items at the different shops. So this is some 3-star broccoli here, this is some 4-star green beans right here, and you also get some 2-star tomatoes when you get this card. And a menu is worth the number of stars of the items that you've used to build it. So you can go with just cheap little 2-star items, but if you really want to win the game, you might have to pull out some 3s and 4s so you can really get some great items. The flow of the game, everybody starts with 4 of these. These will be chef caps in the final version. This is all prototype materials. And you get 6 coins. So on your turn, you place one of these either on the doorstep of a shop to say that you want to buy one of these items, or you put yourself as the owner of the shop, which means you can't line up here, but you get all the coins that other players spend here. Well, let's say this player lines up here and they're really looking to get this 3-star salmon because they've got that on their menu. Then when the next player goes, if they decide they want to get some salmon, they would get in line, second in line, underneath that first player. Then maybe this player goes and they put their pawn here, and that goes at the bottom of the stack or the last one in line. Once everybody's placed all of their pawns, then you resolve. So first, the red player gets to choose one of these, and they can buy any of these 3 cards at a cost of 3, because there's 3 in the stack. So if they choose to do that, they can take maybe a 3-star salmon by spending the 3 coins, and they take their cap off. And now it comes to the green player. They can choose from these, but there's only 2 in the stack now, so it's only going to cost them 2 coins. So they can spend their 2 coins and they can get what they want. And now the yellow player has only 1 pawn in the stack, so it's only going to cost them 1 coin. So as the game goes on, you're driving up the prices of the ingredients in the different shops to make it more difficult for players to purchase. And you're choosing, when do I want to actually own a shop so that I can get all the coins and have a really big blowout round the next round and spend lots of money on the stuff that I want. And as time goes on, you'll accrue various cards, and once you've completed a menu, you announce that you're completing it. Maybe I got some green beans, and I got, well, in this case, if I'd gotten 2 ice creams, any 2 items that you have that are the same can be put together as any other item from that shop. So, for example, if I needed that fudge cake, but I couldn't find it in the shop, I could have gotten 2 of these, put those together. They're worth the higher of the 2-star values together, and I could count those as the chocolate cake or the fudge cake I needed with the green beans, and I could complete this. And this would be 4 stars for those green beans and 3 stars for the fusion item. So this would be a 7-star menu right there. So you go around, you continue to buy up the ingredients you need. The first person who completes 3 menus ends the game. You complete the current round, and then everybody adds up the stars for the different ingredients they use to complete menus. Whoever has the most stars wins. So there's a market system in here, but just like all Calliope games, it's all about teaching new things. So we're teaching a little bit about the market system, but we're doing it in a way that even kids can enjoy. Mm-hmm. So a very fast-paced game and a lot of fun.
How many players does it support?
On the box, we say 3 to 5 players, and that's the best is 3 to 5 players. However, the game can be played with 2 players. We actually have the rules in the rule book for a couple of rules tweaks for 2. And you can play with up to 6, But if you're playing with 6 players, it gets very cutthroat. So we would hate for anyone to ever open the box up and try their very first game at 6 because they'd be like, man, this game is tough. So what we did was we put 3 to 5 on the box, but we have enough components in the box to support 6 players, and you can change a couple of rules to make it work for 2. So really, it's a 2 to 6 player game, but on the box we're saying 3 to 5 because that's the ideal experience with the purest rule set.
And he said in a couple months?
September. This will be in store shelves, on store shelves in September. We're looking to ship out to backers first so that the ones who've backed the Titan series on Kickstarter will get their copies a little bit beforehand, but then September is what we're looking at for the retail.
Cool. Looks very interesting.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Chris and Natasha from Calliope Games, and we are covering the different games in the Titan series, and this one here is Hive Mind, and it looks like it's from Richard Garfield.
Yes, that's right. So Richard has come up with a fantastic party game here in Hive Mind. So the story is the winter's approaching, and the queen bee has looked at the hive and said it's too crowded. So I'm going to have to make some cuts. I'm going to have to banish some bees. And in order to decide who goes, I'm going to see who's thinking the most alike, who can think in the hive mind. So the way the game works is you move the queen along the track, and then you ask a question of everybody at the table. And everyone answers, and whoever matches their answers the most gets to stay in the hive. People who don't match will begin to move down towards the hive, towards the door, and they'll be booted out. So for example, if I'm the first player, I roll this die and it's 6. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It shows 1B. What this basically means is that the person with the lowest score this round is going to move 1 level down. Later you'll have 2 Bs and 3 Bs. And then there's places where some people can get the honeypot and come back up and then someone goes down. But in this case, the person with the lowest score is going to go down, or the people with the tied lowest score. So then I would grab a card and I would choose. The cards all have 3 questions, or you can make up your own question. Every card has that ability. Richard Garfield is all about content generation and doing things to personalize your own game. So in this case, I might say, what are 3 epic films? So everybody then feverishly begins writing. You have 2 minutes to write down what you think are 3 epic films. Now, what I think is an epic film may differ greatly from what Natasha thinks is an epic film. But you have to think about the people who are sitting with you because you're trying to match answers. So if I dip way back and I say, oh, Ben-Hur and 10 Commandments and things like that, she might be thinking Lord of the Rings. And if I know that she loves Lord of the Rings, I may tailor my answers to Lord of the Rings movies because I think she's going to say that. But she might be thinking, oh, epic means really good, so I'm going to say Star Wars. I'm going to say Back to the Future. So everyone writes down their answers, and then you read them off. You'll get a point for every answer you came up with. So even if I said giraffe as an epic film, I'm still going to get a point for it. And if by gum someone at the table said giraffe for some reason, we're going to get a point for matching. So I'm going to get a point for writing it, and then an extra point for matching. So everybody reads their answers, you tally up who's matched up with who, and then in this case, whoever has the lowest score for matches, if it's the orange player, they're going to move down 1 level in the hive, and these people up here are going to celebrate. Yay! And you continue on like that. You roll the die, you move the queen along the track. If you get to something like here where it's 2, if you're playing with 5 players and the lowest score was maybe 4, and the second lowest was 5, and everybody else had 7 or 8, then those 2 that had the lowest score would be the ones who would move down. And whenever you approach an area like this that has a hive gate, if this orange player would usually move down, it's a catch-up mechanic. Instead, this just gets removed and they stay put. Then the next round they would possibly move down if they were the lowest. So the hive gates are there to slow things down, but the board is the way to tell once somebody gets to this point, if they're the lowest, and they go down again, they leave the hive to go found their own hive. Yes. And so the essence of the game is in asking these questions and trying to think like other players at the table. So if you're playing with strangers, you get to know them pretty quickly with how they answer questions. And if you're playing with friends and family who you know very well, it's all about thinking about those inside jokes and those things that they like and trying to match, hoping that they don't kind of do a double thinking, out-thinking thing. great example I have was somebody asked, what are 3 breeds of dogs? And everybody at the table was writing down different breeds of dogs, but it was playing with a group of 3 ladies who all owned dogs, and they all put what they thought the other one's dog breeds would be, and no one answered the same way. And so they were all laughing and yelling at each other, I can't believe you didn't put Shih Tzu because that's what you have. And she said, I put Beagle because that's what you have. So it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of it's how you take the questions. So if I say, what are 3 unusual pets? Natasha, what would you say unusual pets?
Cougar.
Cougar. See, I might say snake. So what does unusual mean to different people? So as you go, you move down. If you hit a honeypot, you might move back up briefly, but this is a game that goes pretty quickly and it generates a lot of laughter. And so we're really looking forward to this one because everybody we play this with has just a really, really good time.
So how many players are we looking at with this?
It's a 3 to 12 player supported game in the box. So this is prototype materials. These are just little cylinders that we got for the prototype. These will actually be B-shaped meeples or...
Beeples.
Beeples! There's a lot of buzz.
A lot of buzz around the beeples, right?
Lots of buzz about the beeples.
So we'll have 12 beeples in the box. You can play with 12 players, but honestly, if you're with a giant group, you can just add any kind of pawns you have and you can play with any number. And some people play with the board and love all this, and some people will just grab a few of these things and they'll just sit around and ask questions. So it's a great party game. It gets conversations going. There's a lot of laughter, and you know, old married couples yell at each other. What? Why did you say that?
And when are we looking at the release for this?
September is when it'll be on store shelves. Backers will get it slightly before that. They'll get the first batch of it, and then it'll be in store shelves in September.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, and now we have Running with the Bulls.
This is Running with the Bulls by Paul Peterson. Welcome to the wonderful town of El Toro. You are here to have a wonderful vacation, and you will be guiding your runners, which are these little dice, from one end of town to the destinations, the fabulous destinations at the other end. Only thing about El Toro is it's been taken over by a herd of crazy, rascally bulls. The bulls will be chasing you through these streets as you make your way down to the destinations and trying to stampede you off the board. So, I want you to imagine this game kind of like a pachinko machine. You start at the top and you move down the different ways to the bottom. So what we've got is we've got a couple players. You'll start with 6 dice, which are runners, 6 runners per player in a 4-player game or a 5-player game. We've already put these out. We've rolled them, and every spot has a number. So we've matched up the runners with the numbers. Ones are wild, so you can put those anywhere. And we've rolled and placed a bull at every roundabout at the start. So let me, as green, I'll roll this. So the 6s are going to go here, 5, 2, 3, and then the 1 can go anywhere. So I don't want to match up with the bull because I'm in jeopardy of being stampeded, so I'm going to throw the 1 right here. And then what we do is we have cards, action cards. Everyone has a hand of 5 of these action cards, and they let you do different things, like you can place or remove a directions token. That lets you change which way your dice are going to go. You can re-roll a bull. Your runners won't be charged by the bulls after they move this round, and they let you re-roll the runners and things like that. So let's say I play a card that lets me re-roll all runners at one location. I can pick up the runners, re-roll them, put them back down here. And the reason I might want to do something like that is once everyone's played a card, the dice, the runners and the bulls are going to move from one roundabout to the next, and they're going to follow the signage that says odd and even. So in this case, this bull is odd, so he would travel down here. All of the rest of these are even dice, so they're going to move down here. This one only has 1 path, so these slide down. These guys here only have 1 path. This has an odd and even, so these are going to come down here, and these are going to, actually they're all going to come down. Once you play the cards and the dice have moved, you now check to see what runners are matching bulls right now. So in this case, this blue 3 is in danger because he matches a bull. So the blue player would get to roll it one time. Unfortunately, the 1 is still matching a bull at his location, so this guy gets stampeded and taken out for the day. So you go around and you do that at every location. This 1 matches the 1. He's a 3, so he's safe. So once you've resolved the bulls, you do the same thing again. You each play a card to try to influence the dice and mitigate the danger. Then you slide the bulls and the runners down. You check to see if anyone's matching, and you roll against matches to see if you can change it. And then you keep doing that until you get to the bottom of the board where the destinations are. And once you get to the bottom where the destinations are, every die that gets here gets a number of points equal to the number there. So if I have 3 runners here at the end of the day, I'm going to get 9 points for that. And some of them have special abilities. The bank is worth 2 points per runner, but whoever has the most there gets an extra point. You have, this one is my favorite over here, the casino. It's only 1 point per runner who gets there, but you also get to roll 1 die and add that number of points to your score for that. So you'll collect victory points or coins equal to your runners' values here at the different destinations, and then you'll reset, and you'll do that for 3 days or 3 rounds of moving from the top to the bottom, trying to accrue the points. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game has had the best vacation, has avoided the bulls, and is the winner. So that's running with the bulls, kind of a chaotic, crazy, strategic Plinko game.
Cool. And this, I'm guessing, September as well?
This is September as well. Yeah, all of these games, September will be the retail date, and it'll be to Kickstarter backers before that, so they'll have the first opportunity to play.
And was it 6 players?
This one is 3 to... Oh my, 2 to 6. 2 to 6, sorry. 3 Titan games, 2 to 6 players. So yeah, you can play with 2 to 6 players, and it's the only thing that changes in the game when you change the player count is the number of runners you have. If it's a 2-player game, you're going to have 9 runners. Then it'll go to 8, then it'll go down to 6. So the number of runners changes based on the player count, but besides that, the game works the same.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to all of these games. They all look great.
Thank you.